Now before we start creating the views, let's modify our list view, because from the list view we want to add links to update, delete and insert new employee. So here, after the h2 tag with the list of all employees, I'm also going to display the message for our temp data. Remember, when we are deleting the employee, we have the temp data message that is being passed to the action list. So we need to display that message. So in the list view, I'll add another h2 tag, and this one I will style it with class message. And these are actually a CSS that I'm going to create a little later, so I just know that this is gonna be called message as a class for the CSS. And we'll go to temp data from our model, and this one is called message. Then above the table we want to have a link that will lead to inserting new employee, and we are going to use the tag helpers for these. So this is going to be an anchor tag, and we will specify that we want to go to the controller employee manager, and then we will specify the action that we want to trigger after the link is clicked, and that's the insert. And I'll specify a class. I'll call this one link button, because I will have a class that will basically treat this link as a button. So this is going to be link button. And the text for the link can simply say insert. Alright, then we have the table. Let's just add some space there. So let's do a BR and BR. And in the table, we have the headers for employee ID, first name, last name, and title. But also I want to add another column where we have the links to update or delete the employee. So this is going to be another TH, and I will specify the call span of 2, because we have 2 links that we want to insert here, so that's going to be basically like 2 columns. And I'll call this one actions. After that, we create the table by using the for each loop, but what we also need to now add are those actions for update and delete. So these are going to be the links that will be created for each of those employees. So I'll create another TD, and first we will have a link to update the employee. So I'm going to use another anchor tag and use the ASP controller tag helper, because we are going to employee manager controller, and this one's gonna be for the update. So the ASP action is going to be the update. We are calling the update action. Additionally, when we look in our update, we need to pass in the ID of the employee we are updating. So that's gonna be our route attribute. So you'll have an ASP route, and we need to call it exactly what we called it in our action, as the argument is called ID. So I need to call it ID over here as well. And the ID is coming from our item. We are still in the for each loop, so it's the item dot employee ID. And we can style this link just like before. We'll use the class that I will create, and that's gonna be the link button. And this is gonna be for the update. And I'm gonna copy this TD and paste it right after that, because now we are going to create another link, and this one's gonna go to the employee manager, but the delete action. And remember, in our delete, we actually call the action confirm delete, but here we specify the action name delete. So we are referring to this action name delete in our link instead of confirm delete. If we did not specify the action name, the ASP action would be confirm delete. And the deletion also needs the ID, and again we name this as argument ID, so we leave it as an ASP route ID, and it's the same thing, employee ID. So the only difference is that this one is called delete, so this is going to be the text on this link. So when I run it now, I have these links for update, delete, and here's the link for the insert. Now I really don't like the styling. We could leave it like this, but I'm going to create some basic style sheet. When we go to our underscore layout, you can see that we are actually having the CSS/site CSS, so that's in our www root that came with the bootstrap that is installed with the template. So I'm gonna open that, and this is CSS for the bootstrap that we are not using. So I'm gonna select all that and just delete it. And instead I'm going to create my own styles, and I'm not going to show you how I create styles. I'll simply paste them here, the ones that I created, and you will have access to these. I will supply a text file with all these styles, so you can simply copy paste them into this site.css yourself. Again, this is just very simple styles for some divs, for the tables and buttons. Here's the style for the message. I want the color to be red and bold. I'm styling the table a little. I'm styling the links that are either links that were not clicked yet, as well as the ones that were visited. And again, I'm styling some TDs and TH in the table as well. So it's just very simple styles. So I'm gonna save that. And like I said, if you want to create your own styles or use the bootstrap, that's fine. Or you can just use the text file that I provide and copy paste it into the site CSS. So let's run it now. Let's see if the styles are making the site look better. And you can see our site now looks better. It's still not gonna win any design competition, but that's good enough for us. Now if you loaded it and it still did not show the CSS, then just clear the cache. Like I had to actually clear the cache, otherwise it still showed the table without the styles. Alright, so our styling works. We have, you can see when I hover over insert, down in the bottom it will go to employee manager controller and insert action. Update goes to the update action and passes the ID. As you can see, it changes as I hover over other employees. And the same with the delete. It goes to delete and passes the ID. So now let's create those views for update, delete, and insert.